What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Bogey Proof. Got myself, Mikey, and Joe tonight on the line. We got a lot to cover tonight. Full agenda. We got to, recap a little Sony American Express on the PGA Tour side. Talk a little Korn Ferry Tour, LPGA Tour, and then jump into Torrey Pines this week and kind of the upcoming California swing. But before we do that, gentlemen, as always, where are we calling from and what are we sipping on?
Florida, Naples, 72, water. Didn't feel like drinking.
Clinical response, Joseph. I will, hop on your back there on that train. I'm going tea tonight, no booze. Wednesday night here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Cold as hell, but it's just things are ramping up a little bit. Got a lot. Thursday is a big day. Thursday, I'm at work at 8. I'm in class until 7:30. So it's just a long day. As we're doing our recording here, I'm reading a couple cases for my law class, really just kind of, just filling the brain with everything I can at the moment. But Mr. Fontaine, you merch slinging New Englander. What are you sipping on up there in Connecticut?
Yeah, merch slinging is a full-time job. Let me tell you that. The amount of boxes I've folded up, duct taped, and whatever taped up the last week and a half. But it's a lot of fun to do it. I'd do it again next week if I had to. Dry January rolls on, like in the final stretch, an asterisk on it. I went and saw a good friend last weekend, Mr. Mulvey, that we all know. So definitely was not dry last weekend. And then also went to a concert like 2 weeks ago and wasn't dry at that either. So a little bit of an asterisk, but other than that, we're holding strong and so we're drinking water tonight. We just got back from a little kickboxing class and, we're hydrated afterwards, but yeah, so ready to dive into some, what's up?
What's going to be your first drink?
Oh, I mean,
Bud Light?
No, I'm going to do it's just like, if it was summer, yeah, but like so fucking cold out. Like Mikey was saying, man, like it's going to be bourbon or it's going to be like, I'm going to go to dinner and get like a nice glass of wine or something like that. Like, I need, if it's at home, it's probably just going to be a bourbon, but we'll see. We'll see the environment we put ourselves in for that inaugural, sip, we'll say. But anyways, without further ado, we got to do a little bit of recap and give some shout outs to Sony Open a couple weeks ago and last week's American Express on the PGA Tour side. Sony Open, Hideki, another win in, I guess now 3 in a year, counting the Masters, the Zozo, and then the Sony. The Sony probably for sure the third most important one out of that list. But still, it's a win. I mean, Sony's not like the biggest, strongest field in the world, but it's still another, he's still kind of grabbing these points. I think he's up to 10th in the world now with that, which is kind of surprising given he has a major in there too. I figured it'd almost be higher, but I love seeing Hideki, kind of reassert himself. He kind of disappeared for a few years and now has kind of reasserted himself back in the picture with the last, 12 or so months he's put together. And that 3-wood, if it was in the playoff or to force a playoff from 270, whatever, to 2 feet is fucking ridiculous. Into the sun, couldn't even see it, but crazy stuff. You guys got anything else on the Sony? I know it was a little while ago, but
that 3-wood was amazing. That's all I saw, and it was fantastic. Okay.
It's astonishing.
Yeah, very just impressed by what he's put together. Seemingly every tournament he wins just like means something to the country of Japan, right? Masters, first Japanese winner. Zozo, win in your home country.
Yeah.
Win in Hawaii, huge Japanese population.
Mm-hmm.
Pays homage to can't remember his name off the top of my head, but 1983 winner there from Japan. Just has some interesting momentum that's like everything that comes just makes a difference, and it's a little bit bigger than golf. Excited to see what he's going to do moving forward, just because I feel like his game is as solid as it's ever been. He's kind of a little less of that, like, disgusted with a pretty good golf shot. Seems a little bit better, like more invested,
A little more level.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
A little more level. He looks really healthy. Like he looks
in shape.
Hideki is thick. That's my comment.
Big boy.
He's a big boy.
See how tall he is.
But he's just wide and he's strong. And the way he hit that 3-wood off the tee at 3-wood too, he hit it like 265.
Yeah.
And you see himself, it's like, I need to hit this, 265 in the air again and chase it out. He does it. Pretty spectacular. Tough wedge from Russell Henley in the playoff there, over just airmailing it, but
Dude,
happens.
Russell Henley, not that we need to spend a ton of time on the Sony here, but Russell Henley has such a weird career of like I mean, he was leading the US Open through 3 rounds last year. Like, he's been on tour for, I want to say 10 years and like made probably, I don't know, 5 to 10, somewhere in that between $5 and $10 million probably. And it's like, I cannot name a single tournament he's ever actually won. Like, you know him, you see him around.
He won the Sony Open in his first ever PGA Tour start.
What was that, like 2011 though? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think whatever it was, like maybe 8 years ago when he started, 2013, maybe 20, or what, maybe it was 10 years ago, 2011. First PGA Tour start, he won the Sony Open. But that's, I think he maybe has won one other tournament, but
just an interesting career to really never like, doesn't go out and get much, but like you just see him lingering all the time and just like always like, and somehow like always had his card, keeps, you see him every year. He pops up for 3 events. You'll see him on the first page of the leaderboard and usually like sometimes in the lead and just never actually closes anything out. But interesting career he's had. Like, it's just like in the background, but like just pulling in $5-8 million in the last 10 years, like not a bad life.
You want to know how much money Russell Henley's made on tour?
I'm going to get upset.
19 million.
Oh my God. What are we doing?
He's made 159 cuts out of 231 events.
I mean, that's great, but that's just, he's like a forgotten dude and he's pulled in 20 mil in the last 10 years. It's fucking nuts. Anyways, but I digress.
How many cuts?
159.
159
out of
231. It's pretty good. It's more. That's
688 batting average. Not bad.
Yeah.
Decent.
Also, Hideki 5'11", 198.
Thick boy. That's a good build.
That's my size. Just not the 200 pounds.
I'll say I'm like 5'10", 200 pounds, but it's a much less useful and
he has an efficient 200 pounds on him.
His 200 is different than my 200.
Yeah. No, so I guess, wrap it up, Sony. Like, Hideki, awesome stuff. Like, one of those guys, like nobody's ever said a bad word about him. Like, like I give him so many props for like he literally doesn't speak our language and he's here half the year playing tournaments and whatnot. Like, it's to be able to like go out there and compete and like every single player you play with, you can't talk to, like that's it must just be so like lonely, like, I don't know. That's just such a weird dynamic. Like half of golf is like, I mean, obviously we don't play at the level they do, but like there's a social aspect, right? Like, you're out there to chat, to, socialize, to whatever, to like, I don't know, to enjoy each other's company and stuff, right? Like, we talk about that a lot when we talk about us playing golf and whatever. And it's like, he literally can't. He does not speak the same language as anybody at that course that week besides his caddy. It's like, and I guess they usually bring a translator too for interviews and whatnot, but it's just like, I mean, kudos to him for just like, I don't know, that just, I would be so uncomfortable. I can't imagine like hitting golf shots, like, and he goes out there and gets it done. But
maybe that kind of makes it easier.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe he's just tunnel vision. Like, I don't have to talk to anybody because you guys can't understand me anyways. Like, see you later. Like, but
honestly,
I guess that's a good little spin zone there. You could go that way too. But
I feel like that would help me. Maybe I need to learn a new language.
Or just go play in foreign countries and don't talk to anybody.
Hey, there we go. Now we're thinking fine.
So,
think harder, not harder, baby.
There you go. So Hideki's a dog, and Russell Henley is too. Russell Henley went on the Korn Ferry as an amateur. So a lot of slander on Russell Henley's name from Fontaine today. So we'll see.
He'll be fine. His 19 million, he'll be fine with a little.
He'll be all right. He wants to donate.
He's the reason why the PIP exists. doesn't bring anything to the table and just takes home 20 million. But anyways, moving on to the American Express now. Kind of a quirky tournament. You know, they play 3 different courses. They do a Saturday cut, a little pro-am aspect to it, I think. Like, just a lot of shit going on at the American Express, and like always kind of been like a forgotten one between Hawaii and Torrey and, you know, everything else going on in, you know, the golf world this time of year. And it just like with European tour stuff and things like that kicking off. And it's just like, it never does it for me, you know, like 25 under one or whatever, like Hudson Swafford. Like, I mean, we can get right into this unless you guys got other stuff on this on the American Express, but John Rahm gets hot mic, or maybe he did it on purpose because he was walking right by the crowd. So it's like, you know, you're kind of going to be heard when you're there. And he's just like, this is like, what a joke of a setup turned into a fucking putting contest or whatever. And then this week, I think in his presser, he kind of like essentially doubled down, but like added a little more context to what he's saying. He's like, listen, like, it should be a skill / like rewarded appropriately to hit fairways. Like, if there's no penalty in missing a fairway by 40 yards, then like, what's the point? You know, like there's no, the only way anybody pulls away in that aspect is who's going to make more, you know, 10 to 20 or 15 to 25 footers that week. And it's like, you're not rewarding ball striking. You're not rewarding like, you know, control of your ball. You're just rewarding like hit it far, hit it on the green, and who's going to make more putts, which I think is a fair comment. But I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on, you know, comments like that? I mean, that's been a theme around tour lately, is like trying to figure out like when to make it tough, when not to make it tough. Scores are getting too low, rolling the ball back. Like, it's such a deep, you know, seated thing here. But what are your guys' takes on, you know, setup and things of that nature? Maybe in general, not just the American Express.
Take it away, Mikey. I'm trying to find Hudson Swafford's net worth.
Another Georgia guy that's probably made
a lot of Bulldogs.
Probably made 15 million. But I would say, so I agree with John Rahm's sentiment that on the PGA Tour, we probably need to hold those guys to a little higher standard when it comes to penalizing them when they hit a bad shot. Mm-hmm. I think they hit so many great shots and hit so many wedges close and hit so many long irons, you know, relative, like on the green from, you know, that 200 to 250 range, that par fives that are under 575 really become par fours for a lot of these guys. So I agree. I think in order to have us, I rather see a tournament that's won at, you know, 6 to 12 under par. I think like that's a little bit more appropriate. I don't want to torture people week in and week out and have even par be, you know, that number, but 25 under, 30 under is a lot. And I think at that point, you know, unless you get someone who's just like, kind of like we had a, you know, DJ at Boston a couple of years ago, or a Cantley, you know, kind of down the stretch last year where he couldn't miss anything. I just think like there needs to be a penalty for hitting a poor shot, especially with the tee, off the tee, where really, if you watched in the coverage last week, people are swinging out of their ass because it doesn't matter. Right. Exactly. Like, I remember I was watching Tony Finau. I think he was playing with Rahm, or I don't know if he was, but they were, it was a par 5 and it was like 325 to cover a water. And there was so much room to the right side. And with the way there was like the mounding, it was like a wall. If it hit the wall, it came back in the fairway. Yeah, it was like a backboard. So he hit, the ball speed was like 185, you know, just swung out of his ass and was like, all right, well, and it hit into the mounding, you know, 15 feet high, would have been 40 yards right of the fairway, ends up like barely in the right rough. And he hits an iron on the green on a par 5, 2 putts, makes a birdie. So I think those are the scenarios that John Rahm is talking about. And I just think, it's tough. You know, I get it. It's a pro-am. So that adds another piece to it. I'm happy that the AMs don't play on Sunday. That makes me, you know, we can talk about on the LPGA Tour, but let them play 3 rounds, but they should not be playing in the final group on a Sunday.
Right. You can't, because like probably partially to like the point you're making and John Rahm's making is like if there's AMs out there, you can't have any kind of pace of play if you put PGA Tour level pins out there.
Yeah.
You have people missing green and chipping and whatever and like fucking around the greens all day. So you got to put them like, middle, back middle, whatever. Give them, access points for the amateurs to get to. And it's just like, I don't know. I mean, obviously we talk so much about golf and like there's too many 72-hole stroke play events and things like that. And like we don't need it every week. So it's like I'd almost rather them take a week off and do a bunch of weird AM stuff to get like, to get your sponsors, right? Like get them interaction with players. What I don't know. Like there's got to be somewhere
to do it,
like something different than still forcing a 72-hole stroke play tournament that these guys are playing for FedEx Cup points for everything like that. But then you also have 3 days of amateurs out there. And because the amateurs out there, you're like impacting the course setup, which impact, like it's just so weird. It's just like, it doesn't like, I like them in a normal week where you play your pro-am on Wednesday and then you make the course for the actual tournament. Right. Like, and I know the American Express, like it's probably a huge sponsor for the PGA Tour because they can do an event like this, but there's gotta be like, I'd rather them not even play a PGA Tour event, make it like a weird team, like make it a Zurich style thing. I don't know, make it stable for, I don't know, make it just something different if it's going to be a joke of a 72-hole event anyways. Like, I don't know. I think there's something to be said there. Like there's something to be improved upon there. It's like, if John Rahm's the only name in that field this week and he hated it. So it's like, you're not going to get many more big names to go like, give American Express a shot next year if you keep doing the same shit. So something's got to change there, I think, one way or the other, and we'll see how they deal with that, but they probably won't.
We need to also speak on the side of John Rahm needs to grow up a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
He needs to recognize his privilege right now. Yeah. And he needs to understand that there is millions and hundreds of millions of golfers out. I don't know how many people play golf in the world, but every single one of them that is remotely competitive dreams of hitting a golf ball and traveling the world and being on the PGA Tour like John Rahm is.
Yeah.
And at some point, he needs to take a chill pill. Like, I don't know if you really don't care about last week, like and I think you commented on before we started recording, just don't play or show up and have a different attitude that this is my week to
walk around, try something new.
Yeah.
Schmooze with my, Travis Matthew people, let me doctor this up so I get 3 buddies out here that I know I want to play with and just enjoy it and fuck around with it. Hit a fucking draw. You haven't hit a draw in 3 years. Try it out.
Like, you're number 1 player in the world, dude. You don't have to play in anything. You're not fighting for your card. Like, you're not fighting for win. Like, dude, you have such a good stretch of golf of like really proper golf courses and tests like in the next month or so. It's like, like you said, you just don't play. I don't know. Like we'll loop back around to the John Rahm bitching a lot when we talk Tory after we talk a little LPGA Tour and stuff. But I agree. The underlying message is like, I agree with his point, but it's like, yo, relax. Like you're constantly just complaining all the time. But LPGA, talking pro-ams and whatnot, their return to, or their kickoff of their season, they do their essentially tournament of champions, I think it is, right, at Lake Nona, I think, right? Down in Florida. Danielle Kane comes out and gets it done in some conditions over the weekend. Chases down Nelly Corda. Gabby Lopez was up there. I think Selene Boudier was up there. Like really, solid leaderboard, and Danielle Kane goes out and gets it done. Pro-am wise though, there's a celebrity pro-am. So you got like a lot of baseball players, other athletes, things of that nature out there that were playing come Saturday, Sunday, and like hated that. It's just weird to see like, the professionals grinding and, whatever, going through their process. And then you just see like Derek Lowe or like, Greg Maddox just sitting over there like, oh, look at that. Like it's so cool. It's like, dude, they're trying to win a golf tournament here. Like they don't have time to be schmoozing with you. Like it's a Wednesday walk of a pro-am. Like I always found that kind of weird. And also Annika Sorenstam was playing in the celebrity division. It's like, that's kind of bullshit. Like if she wins
that, won the U.S. Senior Women's Open last year.
I know. Like, what are we doing? I don't know. I thought that was fucking like the AM stuff. There's got to be better ways to do it that doesn't affect like the integrity of the golf tournament, but also like Annika, like you aren't you're a celebrity, but because you're a professional golfer, you're a celebrity. Like just playing the LPGA Tour version of that, like that blew my mind when I saw that she was in the celebrity half.
That's funny.
Thank God she didn't win, or that would have been just like some major like whoa what goes on.
I mean, I think the big reason as to why she played too was it was at her home course.
Yeah.
So she was in there. I don't mind Annika. She grinds the shit out of it. She's fun. She's kind of fun to watch.
Playing the regular one though, she probably would have been fine.
I know she was playing the same. They're all playing the same tees.
Yeah, exactly. Just playing like the real LPGA Tour event, and
I think too. It's honestly it's unsurprising that a personality like Danielle King wins that type of tournament, though.
Yeah.
Right. It's unsurprising. She's joking around with people like her. There's some pretty good back and forth with her and Derek Lowe, kind of down the stretch and kind of in some tense times. You know, I don't really think she knew where she was on the leaderboard, and she just made like a bad bogey, and she's kind of grinding it and figuring it out. But you know, just kind of that infectious personality that, you know, she had two AMs with her on Sunday, and then Gabby Lopez and Nelly in the final group were playing with Annika Sorenstam. So like they're trying to live up to their, you know, the greatest women's player of all time. Like there's a dynamic there that didn't seem like it was this overly even playing field.
Yeah, for sure.
And when Danielle King goes out there and wins the winner's check and gets all these points and has a legitimate impact on the season long race, probably some things to think about.
Yeah.
I think if this was a PGA Tour event and that had happened, there would be more people speaking up about it.
Agreed.
And I don't know if the LPGA Tour just doesn't have that voice, or if the players don't have that type of voice. But I would be intrigued to see if that happened in a PGA Tour environment, because I think we might be coming for that tournament. It may no longer be in existence the next year.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
And then going from LPGA to Korn Ferry before we touch on Torrey, shout out to Akshay Bhatia. I think it's Bhatia, right? Gets it done in the first start of his Korn Ferry career, I think, as a full-time member of the Korn Ferry Tour. I think he, kind of Mondayed into a few of them last year and whatnot, but, gets his card last year at the end of last year, and kicking off their season, goes out and gets it done with like an Instagram girlfriend on the bag or something. I never really understood that, like, because I think he mentioned girlfriend in one of his interviews, but like earlier in the week, they're saying that some girl just DM'd him on Instagram, and he was like, yeah, do you want to come carry my clubs this week? And she was like, sure. And like caddied for him. I don't know. Weird.
I did some research on this. So it's like it's his girlfriend. I saw a picture. I went on his Instagram, and there was a picture of them, like they had Christmas together. So it's not just a random.
Okay. All right. Well, then somehow the media.
There was that headline though. A girl that DM'd him or whatever.
Yeah, maybe it just happened like 8 months ago and they started dating. Either way. All right. So that's still weird though. His girlfriend on the bag at 19. That's an interesting dynamic to go out there and win a professional golf event.
Whatever works.
Hey, whatever works is right. And just like background to Akshay's story, like turned pro at 17 instead of going to college and doing like the traditional kind of road to PGA Tour that a lot of players do. Signed with Callaway like right out of the gate. Got some sponsors exemptions through that, PGA Tour, Korn Ferry, etc., and just kind of like some flashes, but couldn't put it all together. Here and there, showed some flashes of brilliance, whatever it may be, but never really kind of earned his spot to stay there. Goes to Korn Ferry. Was a Q school, or did he like go to the finals last year through like his PGA Tour and stuff like that?
I think it was full Q school.
Full Q school. So goes to Q school this year, gets his card for Korn Ferry. Here we are at 19, winning the first event of the year, the 2022 season on the Korn Ferry Tour, which joins, I think, two other people in history to win in their teens on the Korn Ferry Tour. One being her guy Sung Jae, and the other being, I think it was Justin Thomas, maybe, to get a win on the Korn Ferry Tour as a teenager. So pretty special stuff there, and a pretty interesting story if you ever have time to watch the Korn Ferry Tour, keep an eye on Akshay. Big, long, skinny kid, like lefty, and just fucking pounds the ball. It's pretty cool to watch. But so interesting stuff there. And then without further ado, it's Tory week. What do you guys?
Before we get into Tory, can we get this just pops in my brain. Joey, last time we talked to you, I think you had just hopped on the call after being in the boat at the golf course.
Oh yes, update.
Picking up balls. How is life? What are your, have you done anything of note lately? I know we were talking a little bit about your golf game, but fill us in on the last 3 weeks or so in Florida. How's life as an assistant pro, and are you kind of back to swing?
So good news, we finally got some guys working for us, so we haven't been in the boat too much longer.
That's big to get off the
huge.
Off the to-do list.
I honestly kind of miss doing it here and there. It was a good way to get out of the shop, just kind of stay active and physical, but not saying I need to go back and do it. So, but lucked out on that. Other than that, we've been busy as shit. I mean, easily over 200, 250 rounds a day. We just had a 9 and dine, like almost a completely full field. We had a Super Bowl scramble that's coming up on the morning of the Super Bowl. If we opened up, it filled up in more than 24 hours. We're having 120 players.
Awesome.
It's bananas, man. We're so
rocking and rolling.
We're so busy.
This is good. Busy's good in the golf industry.
And then tomorrow I got to go paint the golf course in the morning for a big tournament this week, and got the old president member.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Love that
golf course. Fun job.
So is your course is every course in South Florida, that kind of the same deal right now? Or, are you guys at just like, have you got a bunch of new members? What's going on?
No, I mean, it's gotten busier and busier each year that I've came back, but I mean, I think it's a lot of the golf courses around here. Everywhere's just rocking, whether public or private. I mean, tee sheets are usually completely full. You got to book in advance. It's nuts.
Which
so
is
like if we try to if we wanted to play when you come down, Mikey, what did I mention? Fort Myers Country Club. I would have to try to book that online like as soon as I can, because I think like they let you like a week out and they go quickly. So yeah, I do want to still try to play there. I don't know when I'm gonna, but yeah, no, it's busy.
Who knows if that's like, I think there's a couple factors in there, and let me know if you think I'm off base here, but I think, we saw this big shift at the beginning of the pandemic, people getting into golf, and remember how difficult it was to get a tee time at a public course, Fontaine, especially in New England, right out of the gate. It was in Chicago too, and there was like this change of before, you could look on Wednesday or Thursday and get something for a Friday afternoon or Saturday. There wasn't a lot, but like there was availability. And then there was a stretch where like you have to book a tee time a full week in advance. And you don't think that's a big deal until you're like you don't have like a really like set in stone group of guys you play with, because then you're like trying to figure out like who wants to play this weekend, who wants to do whatever. So it's very different. And then I also think COVID probably produced more early retirees and more full-time Florida residents than it just expedited that process, right? So all these people that were like planning on retiring, they bought places, they rent places. Hey, like we're going to buy something, we'll move down there full-time in 4 or 5 years. Hey, we're going to take an early retirement. We're going to go do that. I'm going to work remotely. I don't know what that looks like, but I don't know. I think there's so many kind of additional factors, and South Florida, especially Southwest Florida, is just kind of built for, that kind of migration. But it's craziness.
It's a different business down here. It truly, truly is, though. It's nuts, but
yeah, I think you take that, Mikey, and also add along with the pandemic stuff. Like most jobs now are full work from home. Like you can find one if that's what you want. So it's like if I'm fully remote, like why not go live in Florida from January till April? Like if you have the flexibility with like your lease or whatever it is to be able to do something like that, like why wouldn't you? So like you probably have a lot of people that, maybe not are retiring down there, but hey, let's go pop down to an Airbnb for a month and a half, and like play golf 3 days a week and like go after work every night and whatever. Like you get a lot of that too going to Florida this time of year. I don't know where else in the country you would go. Like that would be like equally as warm. I mean, I'm sure like Arizona probably too, stuff like that. Like where it's like if you're fully remote and you're staying like that, and like there's no, oh, maybe we're going back in a few weeks. Like if your job has just like been like, yo, remote, you can come in if you want, you don't have to, you're fully remote, good to go. Like why would you stay in New England at this time of year? Like if your lease allows it, I bet you there's a lot of people like that too that are, flocking down there and getting as much golfing as they can and filling up those tee sheets.
Yeah, and I think less people are working too. So the with less people working, right? It's more difficult on the staff, but it's also additional consumers of golf too than they were before. Those people that didn't need to work or didn't work before, or whatever. Right, for every person that's taken out of the workforce, that's more time that they have to spend towards something else. And maybe that's golf, maybe that's some other sort of leisure exercise or activity that they want to do. But yeah, I don't know. It's you better love people if you're in the golf business right now in South Florida, because you
Busy.
will be surrounded.
Yeah, you got that right.
Let's switch that other coast, PGA Tour, Torrey Pines week, Fontaine back and kind of what we're focusing on this week. What do you got to give us a little insight on kind of what's going on? 2 golf courses, a couple big names, really good field.
Yeah.
Initial takes on it.
Yeah. So this was always the first start of the year for the Cat. Tiger always started his season off at Torrey, obviously won there 7 times. So like the place pretty well. I think it's just like you were getting at, like this is the first full field event, I think, too, of the PGA Tour season. Like gets all your big names out because they stay in this area for the next month or so. You get, John Rahm, DJ, JT, Spieth. I think everybody really but Rory in that top 10 in the world, I'd say, are out here this week. It's as much as we always kind of harp on it because they, Torrey gets so much run with farmers every year. Like the US Open last year, it's just like a little overrun in my book right now. Like I'm like maxed out on Torrey Pines takes and like watching the golf course, or whatever, because it's such a proper test of golf that it just doesn't look fun. Like you don't appreciate it. It doesn't play out on TV like it does when you're there walking the grounds, because 480-yard dead straight par 4s with like well-placed bunkers in the fairway, like that just doesn't look good on TV. That's the properest test of golf you're gonna find, is like holes that make you hit a driver super hard and super straight, and then hit a like mid to long iron and hold these crazy, undulated greens with the Poana grass and all that stuff, like a really proper test. But I'm also just sick of seeing Torrey, like, I don't know. I'm torn on it because like
about it, it's just plain. It's played so much throughout the year.
Yeah, exactly.
Then, you got the majors. It's just like I don't need to see it this often. It's the same one as what the where's the President's Cup?
Quail Hollow.
Quail Hollow, but they're gonna move. They move the event. They move.
The
Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo. They moved the Wells Fargo to a different course in North Carolina. I think that when they do because they had the PGA there too when JT won. But yeah, I don't know. So I'm like, I appreciate the proper test of golf and that winning score being like 12 under or so. Like I think Mikey, you talked about that when we were talking American Express. Like that's the sweet spot for me, and like winning score is that like 8 to 14, 6 to 12 under range. Like that's usually when it's like a good mix of like, hey, like if you hit a bad shot, like you got to work your ass off to make a par or bogey, versus like, and like, but you also can still make birdies and eagles if you hit, proper shots or whatever. Like there's a good balance of that, but I just doesn't get the juices flowing, but like it has the name. So like I'm in to watch this week. It's just, I don't know, like it's just dull to me now, just having to see it so much. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Torrey Pines doesn't really do it for me. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to play the golf course,
Yeah.
get out there and enjoy the views and go play, both courses and enjoy San Diego. But I don't know, it just seems kind of vanilla, and I don't, outside of 18, which is a pretty unique hole, and you have the par three, what is ever like the third or something, or the fourth going down the hill. But outside of those two holes, like not too many stick in my mind. Right. I can't picture 17 really at all. And Louis Oosthuizen, hits one in the hazard there in the US Open and kind of loses his chance. And that was, Louis Oosthuizen's chance for another major, like a big event kind of in the last handful of years.
Yeah.
Very pivotal. And I just can't picture that hole. So I think that makes me struggle a little bit. I mean, I really enjoy West Coast golf, just a little better primetime golf. I mean, it's not quite prime time.
But it's better.
But it goes a little bit later in the night.
Yeah.
It goes a little bit later in the night. We're starting up this, the waves were going off at like 12:30 Eastern or whatever it was. Some of the featured groups. That was kind of nice, eating my lunch at home, checking out that. But yeah, I don't know. I like Torrey Pines when Tiger Woods is playing.
Yeah. I would say it's more about the names that show up here than it is the golf course, right? Like even without Tiger this year, it still has, 9 of the top 10 in the world, whatever it may be. Like,
yeah, no Morikawa, no Rory.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Morikawa, Rory, both in Europe. So more, whatever, 7 or 8.
Big Rolex deal.
Like
That's the only reason why.
That make you watch, not the golf course, right? So I think there's definitely something there where, I think we talked about this when we talked US Open last year. It's like, I'm okay with having US Opens here because it is that proper test. You may not remember them, but I feel like it does, identify the best player or whatever. But like, then let's mix it up and go somewhere else for the farmers. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of golf courses in the United States. Like, I think we could figure something out, I'm all for that. But to transition it to a little bit of ROM and tying it back to American Express, for a guy who's played some of the best historic golf over the last year or so now, I can't imagine. I can't figure out in my head like exactly how long it's been. I feel like a year, maybe even more than a year. Played like literally been number 1 in the world for quite some time now. Like the dude is miserable on a golf course. Like walks or like stomps around, like cranky, just like, I don't know. Like, I think we've talked about it before too. It's like every shot, I think we talked about a Kapalua, like every shot he is like, there's no way this, there's no way that, like, how the fuck does that go that far? Whatever. Today he got caught on a mic telling somebody to shut the hell up after one of his chips. Like, again, such a good player, but it's like, yo, like, stop like bitching so much. Like, you have a pretty sick life, man. I don't know. Like, you're a US Open champion right now, like number 1 in the world. You got money, more money than you know what to do with. Like, stop acting like your life is so hard when you're playing golf course. Like, I don't know, man. Like, there's something about it that, like, as much I've been such a ROM guy the last year, and like it's been awesome to see him just play like world-class golf as long as he has. Like, it's truly like special what he's putting together on the course right now. But like his attitude about everything is like obnoxious. It's just rubbing me the wrong way lately. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But I'm just like,
no, I get it.
Or like, I don't know.
Some people are just like that. Maybe I don't know. Golf does that to you.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is probably what drives him and makes him as good as he is too. Like, I'm sure there's an aspect of that in his personality that like makes him as good as he is. But like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I watched this whole round today too. Maybe I'm a little biased there because I watched PGA Tour live group. But
it's fun to watch him when he's having fun.
Yeah. Well, he shot 600 today. You would have thought he shot 85 with his like mannerisms out there. Gives me like the old Hideki where he's like dropping his club and shit and hitting it to 8 feet. Like that's what he's doing right now.
I don't know. And maybe it's a Spanish thing though. Maybe it's a Seve was fiery. Yeah. Sergio's kind of been a fiery, childish jerk, right? Like, and I like Sergio, to be perfectly honest, but like he's gone through weight. He's gone through waves.
Worst.
Sergio's fine right now.
The worst. Continue.
In his old age, he's gotten much quieter, which I appreciate. But
Yeah, he's been Americanized. He's been living in Austin for enough
I
time.
still don't like him.
yeah, no, he sucks. But I mean, I think there's definitely something to that. Like,
He's been
Get
taught
that,
that
but-
intensity is the way to get the best out of yourself.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
and maybe everyone deals with that like intensity and that pressure and for him he's kind of just like a pressure cooker out there.
yeah, exactly.
And he just has an ability to like that propels him forward
Yeah,
where
just harness it pretty well.
yeah, he I mean does it tremendously, probably as good as anyone's ever done it.
Yeah. Just like like on the like sixth hole today, I don't know. Again, watched the whole round today on PGA Tour Live, which again, shout out to that new coverage with ESPN Plus. It's just so good. Like you get multiple feeds. The second coverage is on. There's 3 different channels you can watch. Like you get whatever you want out of it now, which is just it's the best. But like he missed a short birdie putt on like the second or third hole. Then like missed another, like lipped one out of the hole after, and it starts, slapping his leg and, kind of muttering under his breath, whatever. And then he's got like a 6 to 8 footer for birdie on like one of the par 5s. And the guy following his group literally goes, if he misses this one, I'm ducking because he's throwing that putter. Like, it's like it's just like, it's like a lot, man. Every round. I mean, like you said, that is what makes him tick. That's what makes him go and makes him the number one player in the world. But man, it's crazy with like the success he's had that he's like just that cranky all the time. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I guess let's kind of take a quick step back. We'll take a quick comment. Brooks with the bleached hair.
Slim Shady has arrived at Torrey Pines.
Exactly, but I want to take a little step back and kind of just look at. So we had American Express last week, kind of kicking off the West Coast swing. Then we go here, San Diego, Torrey Pines, up Pacific Coast Highway, Pebble Beach, National AT&T Pro-Am, down to Phoenix for Waste Management, and then to Riviera. That's kind of our West Coast swing. Rank those 5 golf tournaments, nothing specific. Put that in order, 5 to 1 overall, just, what's the best tournament, and then what's your favorite golf course to watch? Joseph, so I'll give you a quick little rundown too.
Give me the courses.
You good with all those courses?
Give me go again.
Yeah, so American Express, right? So we have
All those trash courses.
yeah, TPC West, La Quinta. Now we're out here at Torrey Pines, up to Pebble Beach, Spyglass, and probably Monterey.
Yep.
And then we go down to TPC, Scottsdale, and then out west to the Riv.
All right, number 1's the Riv.
Yep.
Just because
Are we going straight golf course here, or
No, we're going tournaments. Tournaments.
I mean both there.
Okay.
For both, honestly.
Yep.
Honestly, these might go in the same exact order. Riv, then probably Pebble. Number 2, tournament and course wise, all 3. That's one of like those setups I don't mind because like the courses that they play are just kind of awesome. I wish there was more coverage at all the other courses.
Yeah.
So we got Waste Management, PGA West, and Torrey. Torrey's 3. 4, the Scottsdale. 5, PGA West.
Okay. Yep. Fontaine, what do you got?
I think we're all gonna have the same 1 and 5. I think it's the middle. It's gonna get a little interesting, but
Yeah.
Riv is number 1. Riv just like so cool on TV.
Right.
Every like the course like plays
Turf
firm.
is firm as shit. I
Yeah,
love those.
firm.
Love those green surroundings. Like I could, when I look at a golf course
Fun.
where I want to play, firm conditions around the greens. That place is sick.
Yeah, really good, really good stuff at Riv. Always gets a good winner too. Like Adam Scott, Max Homa, DJ. Like you always get players that kind of come to play there, except for when JB Holmes won. I didn't like that.
But Bubba Watson loves
Bubba.
Riviera. 3 wins in 6 years.
Yeah. So shout out Riv, number 1. And plus it's the Cats event, Genesis, whatever. And then 2, because we're going to event, I think I'm going to do 2. I'm going to go with Scottsdale. I think I'm going to give it just like the 16th hole being like a circus show for 4 straight days. Like, I know it's dumb,
pretty
but
good.
like,
Of course, it's pretty good.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a very big, like, you know, you can take it deep there, as we saw Jordan did like last year on that Saturday, where like everybody was like, holy shit, like it's happening, whatever. Like, you can take it deep there, but like you can also make some really ugly numbers out there with the water and like kind of the nuance of like the desert and whatever else. So I think that one like just really plays well on TV, and obviously it gets the energy up with that 16, 17, 18. Is it? Yeah, I think it's 17 where Brooks chipped in last year, like a really cool drivable 4 there.
Yep.
On the home stretch. So I like that one. I probably put that 2, and then I'll go Pebble 3. As much as I hate the Pro-Am shit there, I just think that course, like, again, this is it's all time back to Tiger Woods, but like when I see that course, especially that back 9, I just, every single hole I can picture a shot from one of his different wins that he had there, whether it's the US Open or just winning the Pro-Am event, whatever it is. Like, I can picture him hitting shots on those holes and like how cool it is. And like, it's one of those courses that it's kind of the opposite of Torrey. Like, they get compared a lot just being in the California or whatever, but like for Torrey, I can't name any, other than, like you said, 3 and 18. I got no idea. You could show me a hole, I could tell you, I wouldn't be able to guess what hole number that is. At Pebble, I think I could probably get half of them if you showed them to me, like, you know, a flyover or whatever. So I'll go, Pebble 3, Torrey 4 for all the reasons I said earlier, and then Amex 5 for all the reasons I said earlier. Just I think that's where I'm going to land on that one. Although the field that the Pebble has gotten weaker and weaker over the years with the Abu Dhabi pulling all the Euro guys over there. But
yeah, I'm going to say, I think Riv is first. I think the golf course above all else is just so, honestly, in my opinion, is just a place where professional golf, you know, is played. It's synonymous, you know, Genesis Invitational used to be LA Open and Riv. You know, there's not too many courses. When I think of Torrey Pines, I sort of think of Farmers, but like I more think of US Open or kind of its location. Same thing with Pebble Beach. I don't really think of much outside of, you know, historic, right on the water. So I'm saying Genesis Invitational being being Tiger's tournament adds to it. Hopefully we'll get a little better sighting of him this year than him high off his fucking mind like he was on TV last year. 2, I think I would say Scottsdale. I think Fontaine. I think you nailed it. There's more nuance to that golf course than I think people think about. You can make a lot of birdies on the front 9, kind of like Phil kind of got it going a couple of years ago. Jordan got it going. And then you step on that back 9, it's like there's birdie holes, there's bogey holes, there's some water in play. Really like that tournament, and the field gets stronger every single year. I think, you know, people have recognized that's just a fun tournament. And if you're playing Genesis next week, why not go out there and play? And then, I don't know, those other 3s tie for third for the 3 other ones. I don't know. I honestly, American Express might be third for me. It might be like 3A. I don't know what it is. I think they've been a Pro-Am for the entirety, and they know who they are. They don't deviate. They don't deal with people's crap.
Appreciate the self-awareness.
Yeah. And I think like Pebble Beach has kind of lost a little momentum. Used to be kind of this really prolific Pro-Am, and now the field's not great. We had Von Taylor out there winning with a stand bag couple
like that, and that Nick Taylor guy too, almost winning a few years ago. Like,
yeah,
and it turns into the Bill Murray show every year too, which I'm like over that too. Like that's been a shtick since like 2002. Like, let's find a new guy to put on the TV every once in a while.
Yeah, like I mean the most outside of US Open, there was one there. Who won the US Open a couple years ago there?
Woodland. Gary
Yeah,
Woodland.
Woodland. Honestly, then Victor Hovland won the AM. The best thing that has come from the AT&T Pro Am in the last however many years is DA points and Bill Murray like winning back-to-back times.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
Honestly,
kind of sad.
but like every time I close my eyes and I think of Pebble Beach, I'm seeing Tiger Woods under the tree on 18 in all beige, hitting a sliced 3-wood over the ocean and curling it back onto the green in whatever round of that U.S. Open it was. So like Pebble just lives in my brain, and I can, that feels better to me than Torrey does, which is crazy because Torrey obviously is like where Tiger won on one leg and all that. Like it's just, I don't know. But
So you think, like, at least for me, when I think of American Express, I think of David Duval knocking it stiff for 59 back in 1999, #1 player in the world. Those ridiculous sunglasses on his face, like that's some fun stuff. Arnold Palmer shooting 71 at 71
shot his age
on the PGA Tour, hitting like 3-wood from 195, just getting it done up and down. Couldn't chip it worth it all, but still figured it out. Brian Gay running down the stretch when they played the Nicholas course in the final round, like prolific winners. So
I was say Brian Gay doesn't move the needle for me, man. I'm sorry.
What are you talking
weird
about?
Hats and weird G4 outfits that he wears. I'm out on him.
The hat, the glasses, the soul patch, and just the wins at the American Express and the Bermuda Classic lately.
Yeah, he looks like he looks like he leaves the golf course every day in like a tricked out Honda Civic with like a huge spoiler that you hear like a half a mile away. Like his outfits make me think that's the kind of car he drives. And I don't know. Listen, no offense to Brian Gay, but that's just the vibe you're putting off. So you winning the American Express is not going to move that tournament up my leaderboard. If anything, it knocks it down to 6th if there was a 6th spot available.
Dude, I'll never forget when I was at the PGA Championship at Bethpage, Brian Gay. He withdrew, I think, either after the first or second day. I think it was the first day because I went on Thursday. And he walked by us. We saw him. He was pissed off, like on the 9th hole. And we found out later that day he withdrew. He was like, yeah, that makes sense. He was just in the worst mood you could possibly ever think of. It was ridiculous. It was funny. Never forget that.
Yeah. Brian Gay, been on the PGA Tour for this is 23rd year on the PGA Tour full time. $24 million. So just take a deep breath, because that guy has just owned professional golf, at least in his own world. He's carved out a spot. So, and this is probably a topic for another discussion if we're going on apparel. Rory Sabatini, when he was wearing his hat the other day and the button down shirt.
I think he wore I think he wore a fedora today at Torrey Pines.
Get out.
I swear to God I saw something. Hold on.
I thought it was from the practice round, and I think we're talking about the same thing. But
okay, all right, that's better, I think.
I mean, Rory Sabatini is a dog. I mean, the guy was the silver medalist, so
You dog.
He used to like, what did he used to do that I used to fucking hate? Did he wear like the weird hats, like the French hats, like fuck, I don't know.
The Bryson hat?
Huh?
The Bryson hat?
No. Well, like kind of, but he used to wear it backwards. I thought who did that? I don't know. I just don't like Rory Sabatini.
Oh, the ones with like the flipped up front.
That was Jesper like Parnovich or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Dog. He's on the Champions Tour, I think so. Rory Sabatini, I'm good on him. Whatever. But yeah, shout out silver medal, I guess. I think he shot like 10 under the last day or something ridiculous to do that too. But yeah. Well, Brian gave me $24 million, man. Oh, what are we doing? I could do that. I could go withdraw from the PGA Championship.
Speaking of David Duval, guys on the Champions Tour now. terrible golf swing. What happened to him? I know he hasn't been
Golf swing
great.
was always a little like really closed and up and funny.
Yeah, but now it's like that thing. If he doesn't hold on for dear life, that's left in a heartbeat.
Yeah, like it's always been left in a heartbeat. That's why he quit the game because all of a sudden it started going left. He couldn't figure it out.
Very true. We had players in the field out there in the Champions Tour. Tom Watson was out there playing.
Ooh,
The guy's like 75, and he struggled last day, shot like 5 over, but the other days he shot like even and 2 over. Like guy's 75.
I mean, he almost won the Open at 60, whatever.
59.
59. He was out there peppering those Idea irons. Everybody bought Adam's Golf Idea irons after that week, or that hybrid that he had. Oh my god!
Tom Watson was born in 1949. He was playing professional golf last week.
Oof.
So
You know what? Let's take a positive spin on this. I feel like I've been very negative this episode. Golf gives you shit like that. Okay, like golf gives you the widest range of like people competing for like the biggest events ever. Like you have everybody like, US opens, whatever, like Masters too, with like having, if you win there, you can go back as long as you want. Like you have people that are from 17 to like 70, all teeing it up for the same exact prize certain weeks. Like I think that's a pretty cool aspect of like what golf can bring as a professional sport, even though sometimes you get wrapped up in a lot of nonsense that goes on out there. But like there is some really cool, like you can always find those storylines if you look for them in golf. Like you can always find like, hey, this dude's 55. Like Jim Furyk, when he plays like at the Sony, shot 60 whatever and like had a hole in one on day one. It's like, 55 years old leading the golf tournament here with, Hideki Matsuyama, like all these guys in the field that are, in the prime of their careers and in their 20s and 30s. And Jim Furyk's just out there doing the thing at 50 whatever, like golf gives you those storylines if you go out and look for them.
Yep. Special game. That's all I gotta say. But I think we're kind of coming up on time. Had a little bit of a long episode here, but looking forward to the West Coast. The West Coast swing kicks off the year for me. As much as I haven't shown great, I don't love the golf courses on the West Coast, but it definitely kind of starts us off. And once we get to the Florida swing and some of that golf that's happening kind of before the Masters, we really kind of kick it into gear, play some real deal golf courses. Excited for Riviera kind of to bookend. I mean, honestly, Waste Management then Riv, like that's a good, very different, like that's as good of a open field event and then invitational back to back, not including a major that we probably get all year. So looking forward to that and looking forward to a great year. A lot of storylines in the Korn Ferry, Champions Tour, LPGA Tour, just a big week, Daily Cup, like Fontaine gives a little update on kind of where we are on that. And I know that started off.
Yeah, well, with the Farmers starting on a Wednesday to Saturday this year, with not wanting to compete against NFL Sunday, which makes sense because NFL Sunday would win. But day one in the books now, and we got all 20 people in. We filled the full league, and we got everybody's rocking and rolling through day one. Leader is at 184 points right now after day one in DraftKings, and every week. You don't have to win. If you win, you get your cash, but you're playing for points every week if you're in the top 10. So all of our players out there, if you're, at the bottom of that leaderboard after round one, you still got a reason to watch. You sneak into 10th, 9th, 8th place, whatever it may be. It all counts for, you're playing for something for the season long race at the end of the day and getting into those playoffs, similar to the PGA Tour and the FedEx Cup. Like every start counts. A T25 is a much better finish than missing the cut. So we're excited. We got our group set, the league set up in DraftKings. So all we got to do is kind of hit reset every week and don't have to, chase people and whatever else. So off to a good start. And we appreciate everybody for kind of hopping in that who showed some interest, and looking forward to kind of running it back next year, expanding and doing some stuff along the way as well this year where, we picked 15 events, and obviously there's a lot more than that on the PGA Tour. So we'll probably try to do some spin-off stuff where like 1 weeks for certain tournaments that, didn't make the cut in our 15-week season, but are worth, putting a little DraftKings mini league together or whatever it may be. So exciting stuff. And we're looking forward to kind of following that along on the Instagram.
So if you win 1 week, what's the payout for 1 week?
$150 for first and 50 for second every week.
How would you celebrate a win?
I would celebrate a win by breaking my dry January and enjoying a nice cocktail of sorts.
What would be your cocktail of choice?
Would
right
depend
now?
on the event.
Just in this certain situation, say next week at Pebble Beach, middle of the West Coast swing.
I'd have to do. We're at Pebble. I'd have to do something. You know, I know it's not like necessarily like hot out there right now, and like beach weather, we usually get a little like more of the fog and stuff like that at this time of year out at Pebble. But I'm thinking Pebble. I'm thinking beaches. I'm thinking California. I don't know, a little sex on the beach, maybe put something together like that. Get after it. You know, like we're year 2022. Like I said in our goals podcast, like I'm over just mixing liquor and a mixer. Like I'm going to try and expand this year. So my cocktails, I want to try to set myself or hold myself to like a 3 ingredient minimum for every cocktail I have this year. That's what my goal. And I think sex on a beach will get me there. I think there's at least 3 or 4 in that puppy. So I'd go with something like that.
Joey, how about for you? What are you sipping on if you're at Pebble Beach next week watching the golf?
2 ingredients.
2 ingredients.
Ice and bourbon.
Attaboy.
There's a kind of the housing at Pebble on the one, like there's I don't know what it is, kind of like condo situation on the 18th green, has a patio out there. Mm-hmm. When I was there, when we stopped through, guy was drinking bourbon, smoking a cigar out there. That's you. That's you. That's what you need to be. And
that's where I need to be.
Exactly. And closing us out, Pebble's kind of a classy place. You know, been around for a while. I'm going dirty martini.
Ooh,
yeah.
Hell yeah!
Throw a couple extra olives in there.
Wow.
Put it on the stick. On the toothpick. I'm gonna chomp on one of those when I first get it. At least 3 olives. If you don't get more than 3 olives, you might as well, you know.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever had a dirty martini. I've had a lot of different cocktails, martinis, whatever in my day. I don't know if I've ever done a dirty one, and I think it's because I don't like olives, but like you mix it with vodka, and I'm just, like, if I wouldn't eat the olives, like you're saying, but like I feel like if you mix it, it's part of the drink. I could kind of, you know, if I don't see the olive, maybe I would be like tricked by it, you know, like I wouldn't realize I'm drinking olive juice, but I am. Like it's something that, like you said, that's classy, you know, like it's James Bond shit, you know, like shaken, not stirred, whatever it is. Like, like that's something you know what, 2022 year of expanding my cocktail. I'm gonna try and make one this weekend. Yep. I'm also making risotto this weekend, so keep an eye on the Instagram for that.
Great.
Year of the risotto 2022. We're giving it a run.
Hey, getting going in the kitchen. Joey, be ready to show us your buffalo chicken omelet at some point. But
you guys, you don't even deserve to see it, brother. All right, you don't even deserve to ever even sniff one.
Mikey, I know what you're having for breakfast on February 28th. Or
you know what, Mikey? Maybe I'll do that for you.
Or the first, whatever morning.
You know, at Fontaine, where you got to be out the door so quick and get to the course very early.
You don't want to rush a buffalo chicken omelet. You can't rush that.
Wake up early for you.
All right, fellas, good seeing you. Good chatting. We
always a
covered
pleasure
lot today.
Always a pleasure.
But a lot of fun stuff coming. Excited for the West Coast swing.
Absolutely.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Salute.